Hello, welcome to my channel. It's Cherie. In this video, I'm going to be doing another junk journal with me, and I'm going to be documenting a story, which is what I normally do in my junk journal with me videos. I have stories that I like to document, keep record of, remember, all that good fun stuff. And just so you know, there will be a spoiler alert, I guess you would say, in this video for the movie Bloodshot, and with Vin Diesel. So I mean, I'm gonna tell you what happens within like the first 10-15 minutes of the movie, just because it pertains to the story. It's what this kind of what the story is about. So it's about my son, and my son and I, we watch a lot of movies together. It's kind of we've done it for a while, but we've been watching more movies together lately because of the COVID, the pandemic and stuff. So there's a lot of TV watching going on, because there's not really a whole lot that we can do. So I always force my son to, I say force, but not really force, but to watch like older movies that I watched when I was younger. And he will fuss with me about it, but he enjoys it. But every time I'm like, come on, let's watch a movie, and he'll be like, oh, is it going to be like an 1800s movie or a really old movie? And I'm like, yeah, it is, but you'll like it. And he's like, oh, Mom. So, but he ends up cracking up laughing at it, and whatever. It's just kind of like our thing that we do. We just watch movies together. And so I convinced him to watch The Princess Bride with me, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. And if you've never seen it before, you should check it out. So I have that Princess Bride. It's like an insert from the DVD, and I took it out of the DVD so I could put it in my journal, just, to represent that we watched the movie, and it's my favorite movie. I like it. I like that it's in my journal. One of my favorite movies. So, yes, definitely. If you've never seen it, watch it. You will not regret it. It is such a good movie. So, anyways, so I convinced him to watch this movie, and I have this card here, and it says times to cherish, and it, I like it. I like what it says on it, and it's pretty, and so I figured I'd put that in there. And then that notebook paper there is just from a book that I got at like a thrift store, and the paper, I like the color of it and the lines, but it's like really, really thin paper. So I usually, if I have like a lot to write about, sometimes I will use this paper and then just decorate the sides, or use put stickers on it or whatever. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I don't think I've done it in this journal, but I have done it a lot in previous journals. So I wanted to use this paper because I knew I was going to be writing a lot, and that I'm putting on there is just like a piece of, I don't know if it's ribbon or fabric or what exactly, but it's just like a vintage piece of, we'll just say, fabric. And then I had pulled out some sticker sheets that I thought I may use as well. And I have this little lace that I was going to also use to decorate the side, and I glued it down, and then I was planning on stitching along the edge as well. And then I'm just using a border sticker for the other side of that paper. So right now I'm just basically decorating this sheet because I know I've got a lot to write on it, and I'm planning on tipping it in the middle of those two pages. And then this is just a die cut from that pack that I opened up in my last video, or maybe the video before, I don't know. So I stitched all the way around it, I like the way that looks, and I pulled out my basket. I have this basket. It's got a whole bunch of frames in it, and obviously they're really old because they're not even sticky anymore. The little strips that hold, that are on top of the sticky part, they're all falling off. But I didn't want to put too much bulk in this, so using this frame, so I decided just to cut it and use just one half of it and glue it down. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just trying to figure out which frame do I want to use, and then I'm just going to show you, like, this is my little basket, and it's just got all these little different frames in it. So I liked the color of it because I felt like it matched the placemat that the cup is sitting on, and the dress on the princess and the Princess Bride. Buttercups. That's her name, Princess Buttercup. So, yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down and then place the frame over top and glue that down as well. And it does kind of poke out of my journal just a little bit. Well, not a little bit, it pokes out quite a bit, but it's okay. It doesn't bother me. And my journal is, it's almost finished, actually. I've already, I got my new journal ready to go, and I'll do a video on that too when the time comes. But yeah, I've got a few more stories to tell, and then this journal will go on the shelf. So at first I was thinking, well, maybe I'll make a pocket out of it, but then I was like, well, there's no reason to really make a pocket because I'm not tucking anything in there. And it's just a cut apart from a cut apart sheet from Webster's Pages, which I think I showed that also in that video. I still had it sitting around on my desk, and it worked perfect for this. And then I just grabbed some twine and put that through the hole and put a few little staples on it just to secure it down. So now here I am fiddling with this die cut, and I liked that little view, what is it called, a viewfinder or view something, but I don't know, it just kind of reminded me of movies and pictures and whatever. So, and then I glued that Bloodshot, which is something that I just printed. I just went and typed in the movie Bloodshot, and then I couldn't find one that was like not super gory, so I just went with the name of the movie. So now this is just a little drawer that I have some of my brads in, and I'm just looking for a brad that will fit in that little hole or go in there. And actually I really like the way that it looks, but when I went to close my journal, the viewfinder was like right where it ties closed, so I had to trim it down. So now it looks a little wonky, which you don't see that, but it's okay. It is what it is. I don't mind it. So excuse me. So I'm trying to figure out which brad. I liked them both, but I was trying to figure out which one was going to be less bulky, like more flat. And I just took this spool or awl or whatever you call it and poked a little hole in there. So here's a spoiler alert really quick. So in the Bloodshot, my son asked if he could pick out a newer movie this time that we watched a movie, and I was like, fine, sure, go ahead, you pick the movie out this time. And then this is just a little stamp set from Studio Calico, and I liked it because it had it had a TV and a little the snappy thing, like take one, take two. So I figured I would stamp on there just to decorate that little paper a little bit. So and this is not going to be funny to you if you've never seen The Princess Bride either, but it was hilarious to me, which is why I had to document the story. So, in the beginning of Bloodshot, the guy is like, I guess a Green Beret. I don't know. He's some sort of military super force by himself or whatever, and he goes into this place where he's supposed to rescue somebody, and he rescues the person, and then he ends up going home and seeing his wife, and then they're in a hotel, and she ends up getting kidnapped, and he ends up getting kidnapped, and the bad guy comes up to him and he says something like, how did you know that we were going to be at this place, whatever, where you saved the hostage? And this is, not 100% accurate, basically. So in the very beginning of the movie, the guy ends up getting shot, and his wife ends up getting shot, and they both die within 10-15 minutes of the movie. So I'm gonna go back and forth between the movie and the voiceover of this spread. So I put that little sticker down there, and it says collected memories, and it was kind of floating above the paper and the ribbon, so I just grabbed some pop dots and popped it underneath there so that it would actually rest on the paper. And then I pulled out my my little Stampin' Up! Alphabet stamps, the little mini alphabet stamps, so that on the back side, when I was done doing my journaling, I could write a list of all the movies that we've watched recently, the older ones, well, just basically all of them. And I couldn't remember them all. I still have to go back into my watched list on the TV and write them down, because my memory is horrible. So I'm just stamping out movie list. So yeah. So back to the movie. So the guy ends up dying, his wife ends up dying, and I'm just like, like I suck my breath in, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they shot him. And then the next scene you see is like, you it's like dark, and you hear people saying something about his vitals are back online, and you see like somebody's eyes opening up, and it's Vin Diesel's eyes, where he's like, coming back alive or whatever, and he's like in this hospital type room, and but it's not really a hospital. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, and my son reaches over and he puts his hand on my hand and he says, don't worry, Mom, he's only mostly dead. And I just busted up laughing, because that, just so you know, that is a quote from The Princess Bride, from one of the parts in The Princess Bride, and I lost it. Like, I was laughing for 5 minutes straight. I couldn't even breathe. I had tears coming out of my eyes and everything, and my son was just like rolling his eyes at me. He's like, oh my gosh, Mom, it's not even that funny, but it just tickled me so much. So I just I loved that memory, and I was like, I've got to document that story, because I know it's one that I will enjoy in the future, looking back on. So yeah, so it cracked me up. And then if you want to know what happened with the army guy, I guess you'll have to watch Bloodshot. It was all right. It wasn't great, but it kind of reminded me of like a newer or like a different swing on Total Recall, sort of. But anyways, so I'm looking through my linens here, and I'm trying to find one that I can put that he said, don't worry, Mom, he's only mostly dead. And so that's what I'm doing here, because I wanted to highlight that he said that. So there's not like, I didn't do a whole lot of decorating, I guess you would say, in this spread. It was actually really quick and easy. And yeah, so my journal is starting to fill up, so I didn't want to put too many, big chunky elements in here. And yeah, so I guess that's my story. It was just so funny. So I'm just writing the quote on this linen. I went with this one. I like the blue on it, and this is one of my linens. It's in my my Etsy shop, which I'll leave a link below. And I'm not sure what pack it's in, but it's one of my favorites. I really like it a lot. It's so pretty. And so then I just went ahead and I did my journaling before I tipped in my paper, so that I wouldn't have to, write on a bumpy surface. And then there I'm just writing my list of movies, which is Gods Must Be Crazy. That's a really funny one too, and it's really old. I think it's like from the, I don't even know when it is, but it's old and it's hilarious. It is so funny. And Bloodshot, Princess Bride. We watched some of the Band of Brothers, which is like a TV series about World War II. And Remember the Titans was another one. And then we've also watched like Police Academy, which I think I've journaled about that before too. And just older ones that they're not like crazy old, but to me they're not crazy old, but to him they're like ancient. So I just tipped that in, and then I wasn't quite sure. I was like, okay, well, am I done? Do I want to add anything else? And then I just looked over this sticker sheet. It's an old basic gray sticker sheet, and I put that little ticket sticker there, and it says enjoy the little things. And I'm not quite sure. Oh, I think I do. I add another label sticker, and I just talk about how Bloodshot was a good movie, but it doesn't come close to The Princess Bride. And I think that pretty much does it. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I hope y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next one.